Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on Akashvani. This is R.S. Raghu bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi invites Australian CEOs to leverage vast investment opportunities in India across various sectors, concludes his three-nation tour to Australia, Papua New Guinea and Japan. Australia offers strong support for India's permanent membership in UN Security Council. Third G20 Tourism Group meeting successfully concludes in Srinagar. Special Investigation Unit conducts raids on houses of 4 Pakistan-based terrorists in Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan Defence Minister Khwaja Asif says government considering putting a ban on Imran Khan's party PTI. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida denies plans to join NATO, acknowledges Security Alliance's plan to open a liaison office in the country, and Russia's Prime Minister signs a set of agreements with China during a trip to Beijing. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi concluded his three-nation tour to Japan, Papua New Guinea and Australia on Wednesday. On the last day of his visit to Australia, the last destination of his tour, the Prime Minister held bilateral talks with his Australian counterpart, Anthony Albanese. He raised India's concerns with Mr. Albanese over incidents of attacks on temples and activities of pro-Khalistani elements in Australia. In a joint press statement after the meeting, the Prime Minister said he had a discussion on the issue with his Australian counterpart in the past. Mr. Modi said Prime Minister Albanese has assured him once again that he will take strict action against such elements in the future also.
भारत और ऑस्ट्रेलिया के सौहार्दपूर्ण रिश्तों को कोई भी तत्व अपने विचारों या अपने एक्शन से आघात पहुंचाए, ये हमें स्वीकार्य नहीं है। प्रधानमंत्री अल्बनीजी ने इस संदर्भ में जो कदम उठाए हैं, मैं इसके लिए उनको धन्यवाद देता हूं। साथ ही उन्होंने मुझे एक बार फिर आश्वस्त किया है कि वो ऐसे तत्वों के विरुद्ध सख्त एक्शन लेते रहेंगे।
The Prime Minister said India-Australia ties are based on mutual trust and confidence. He said they had constructive discussions on strengthening strategic cooperation in mining and critical minerals.
माइनिंग और क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स के क्षेत्र में अपने स्ट्रेटेजिक सहयोग को आगे बढ़ाने पर सकारात्मक चर्चा हुई। रिन्यूएबल ऊर्जा में सहयोग के लिए हमने ठोस एरियाज की पहचान की। ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन पर एक टास्क फोर्स के गठन का निर्णय लिया। कल ऑस्ट्रेलियाई सीईओ से विभिन्न एरियाज में निवेश को लेकर मेरी उपयोगी बात हुई और आज मैं बिजनेस राउंड टेबल में ट्रेड, इन्वेस्टमेंट तथा टेक्नोलॉजी सहयोग पर बात करूंगा।
The Prime Minister also engaged in a dialogue with top Australian CEOs during a business roundtable in Sydney. The Prime Minister highlighted the significant economic reforms implemented by the Indian government and initiatives for ease of doing business and boosting economic growth. He urged the CEOs to establish partnerships with their Indian counterparts. Mr. Modi also invited the Australian CEOs to leverage the vast investment opportunities offered by India across various sectors, including digital infrastructure, IT, fintech, semiconductors and renewable energy, among others. Addressing media in Sydney, Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra said Australia offered strong support for India's permanent membership to the UN Security Council. Mr. Kwatra informed that both leaders also discussed a wide range of global and regional issues, including Quad, Russia-Ukraine conflict and reform of the UN Security Council.
Our cooperation with Australia can be synergetic in a manner that is beneficial to the countries of the Pacific, which are of course countries of the Global South also. On the UN Security Council reform, there was a very clear articulation during the discussion that of a strong support for the permanent membership of India to the UN Security Council, and generally also the need for reform of the UN system, including Security Council, which obviously we all know doesn't reflect the contemporary realities of today's world.
And now in today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on India-Australia ties on upswing.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi was on an official visit to Australia at the invitation of Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. The Prime Minister held a bilateral meeting with Mr. Albanese on the 24th of May 2023 at Admiralty House in Sydney, Australia. Earlier, Mr. Modi was accorded a ceremonial welcome and guard of honour on arrival at Admiralty House. Both the leaders recalled their productive first annual Leaders Summit held in March 2023 in New Delhi and reaffirmed their commitment to further broaden and deepen the multifaceted India-Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. The two leaders focused their discussions on cooperation in defence and security, trade and investment, new and renewable energy, green hydrogen, critical minerals, education, migration and mobility, and people-to-people ties. Both the leaders welcomed the signing of the India-Australia Migration and Mobility Partnership Arrangement, or MMPA, which will further facilitate mobility of students, professionals, researchers, academics and others, including through a new skilled pathway named MATES, or Mobility Arrangement for Talented Early Professional Scheme, specifically created for India. They also welcomed the finalization of terms of reference of the India-Australia Hydrogen Task Force, which will advise on opportunities to accelerate manufacture and deployment of clean hydrogen, focusing on hydrogen electrolyzers, fuel cells, as well as supporting infrastructure and standards and regulations. Prime Minister Modi thanked Australia for its support in establishing a Consulate General of India in Brisbane. The two leaders reiterated their determination to ensure a peaceful, prosperous and inclusive Indo-Pacific region underpinned by a rules-based international order. They also discussed reform of the UN Security Council. Prime Minister Albanese expressed Australia's strong support to India's G20 presidency and initiatives. The Prime Minister looked forward to welcoming Prime Minister Albanese for the G20 summit in New Delhi in September 2023. Prime Minister Modi, along with Mr. Albanese, addressed and interacted with a large gathering of Indian community members on 23rd of May 2023 at the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney. The Indian diaspora, consisting of students, researchers, professionals and business persons, participated in the event with great enthusiasm. A number of ministers, members of parliament and other dignitaries from Australia also participated in the event. Both the Prime Ministers jointly unveiled the foundation stone for a Little India Gateway to be built in Harris Park in Parramatta, Western Sydney, which is home to a large Indian community. In his address at the reception hosted by the Indian community in Sydney, Prime Minister Modi highlighted mutual trust and mutual respect as the foundation of the close historical ties between India and Australia and underscored the numerous elements that bind the two countries. He lauded the contribution and success of the Indian community in Australia, calling them cultural and brand ambassadors of India. The Prime Minister outlined India's growing achievements on a global scale and noted that the world was increasingly interested in India's success stories. He highlighted the deepening engagement between India and Australia. Prime Minister Modi also met Mr. David Hurley, the Governor-General of Australia, at Admiralty House in Sydney, Australia. The Prime Minister recalled his meeting with the Governor-General in 2019 during his visit to India as Governor of New South Wales. Both the leaders discussed ways to strengthen the long-standing bilateral partnership. The Prime Minister recalled the positive contributions of the Indian community in Australia and their role in fostering closer links between the two countries. Mr. Peter Dutton, the leader of the opposition in Australian Parliament, called on Prime Minister Modi on the 24th in Sydney. The Prime Minister appreciated the strong bipartisan support enjoyed by the India-Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Their discussions covered various aspects of the bilateral partnership, including people-to-people linkages. Discussions also covered regional developments. Canberra and New Delhi share commitments towards a stable, secure and prosperous Indo-Pacific. Together they have an important role to play in supporting this vision. As friends and partners, the relationship between the two countries has never been closer. India and Australia have several commonalities which serve as a foundation for closer cooperation and multifaceted interaction on lines similar to what India has developed with other Western countries. Both are strong, vibrant, secular and multicultural democracies. They both have a free press and an independent judicial system. The English language is an important link. Cricket and also the large numbers of Indian students coming to Australia for education are significant elements in awareness at the popular level. As Prime Minister Modi emphasized, Indo-Australian ties centered on the 3 C's, that is cricket, curry and Commonwealth. They graduated to the 3 D's, that is dosti, that is friendship, diplomacy and democracy. Then came the 3 E's, that are energy, economy and education. Now, the depth of the relations transcends all these. The bilateral ties are poised to touch newer heights in the future.
This is Akashvani giving you the world news. The third G20 Tourism Group meeting concluded in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir on Wednesday. In the 3-day meet, a discussion was held on 5 priority points including green tourism, skills, tourism, MSMEs, digitalization and destination management. Speaking to Akashvani News, a delegate from Spain termed Kashmir a mesmerizing place and urged foreign tourists to keep the valley as part of their visiting itinerary to India. He said the meeting held in Srinagar was fruitful.
I understand that Kashmir is a place of success in terms of tourism, and the India government has a very good plan for international tourists to come to this area. And I think the region, Kashmir itself, has everything you need. It's been a wonderful holiday. To sum up the whole visit, fruitful meeting yesterday at the conference center talking about film tourism, which is really important both for India and for Spain. We exchanged a lot of good projects in the past few years. Many Indian movies have been shot in Spain. The meeting itself, the thematic of the tourism declaration is going in the right direction. Kashmir is something that really gets in your mind. You get mesmerized. It's a really special place.
The second meeting of the Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group DRRWG was formally inaugurated in Mumbai on Wednesday. Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar, Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, addressed the delegates after the inauguration. Dr. Pawar also inaugurated a photo exhibition titled Safer Mumbai, Future Ready Mumbai, a photographic portrayal. A report.
During the technical sessions today, the G20 delegates discussed a roadmap for Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group for the next 3 years. Technical sessions covered various topics such as financing early warning and early action, financing resilient infrastructure, building back better, ecosystem-based approaches, and the role of community in DRR. A roundtable on financing disaster risk reduction was organized with the representatives from the private sector. A side event on infrastructure risk reduction tools and data platform was also held. Prarthana, Akashvani News, Mumbai.
Union Ministers of State for Commerce and Industry, Anupriya Patel and Som Prakash inaugurated the G20 Second Trade and Investment Working Group meeting in Bengaluru on Wednesday under Indian presidency. Delivering her keynote address, Anupriya Patel said that G20 is a valuable multilateral platform that reflects upon challenges that need global attention. She emphasized that WTO reforms are essential to ensure fairness and transparency in global trade. Speaking on the occasion, Som Prakash noted that in recent years, India has made significant progress in reducing bureaucratic hurdles and enhancing transparency. He added that India offers immense opportunities across various sectors, including manufacturing, infrastructure, and technology. He laid emphasis on India's investor-friendly landscape that provides a stable policy framework, protecting intellectual property rights, and ensuring the availability of skilled talent. In the opening remarks, Commerce Secretary Sunil Barthwal said that the second meeting after the one in Mumbai will further deliberate on WTO reforms, global value chain expansion, and 5 proposals put forth under the India presidency. India's Home Minister Amit Shah has said that the new Parliament building will be a symbol of a self-reliant India and a centre for fulfilling the hopes and aspirations of all Indians. In a tweet, he said the Modi government is engaged with full devotion and dedication in empowering the poor and deprived sections of the country, and the new Parliament House will be a witness to its commitment to this resolution. Mr. Shah said, the Parliament House is the centre of our faith in democracy, which reminds us of the value of freedom and its struggle, and also motivates us for national service. Briefing media in New Delhi on Wednesday, he said Prime Minister Narendra Modi will install a historic golden scepter called Sengol near the Lok Sabha Speaker's seat while dedicating the newly constructed Parliament building to the nation on Sunday. This scepter was used on 14th of August 1947 by the first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru when the transfer of power took place from the British to the Indians. Sengol is a Tamil word which means full of wealth, and this scepter symbolizes virtual and ethical rule. Sengol, measuring 5 feet, is a masterpiece of Indian art with rich workmanship from top to bottom. It has been brought from a museum in Allahabad. India's Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia underlined the country's efforts to strengthen the pharmaceutical sector globally and promote digital health innovations for universal health coverage and improved healthcare service delivery at the grassroots level. Delivering a keynote address at the 76th World Health Assembly in Geneva, Dr. Mandavia highlighted the significance of the Heal by India and Heal in India programs, which aim to enhance global healthcare services. He said that the Heal by India initiative seeks to bolster the mobility of health professionals from India to various parts of the world, aligning with the Indian philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, the world is one family. The minister informed the Heal in India initiative aims to provide integrated and comprehensive treatment solutions within India, ensuring accessibility to world-class and affordable healthcare services. Dr. Mandavia stressed that India is home to the world's oldest medical system called Ayurveda, and since its unique strengths have come to the fore, demands for Ayush treatments including Yoga, Siddha, Unani and homeopathy have increased globally. The minister also highlighted the country's G20 presidency agenda, prioritizing health emergencies, prevention, preparedness and response with a focus on One Health and antimicrobial resistance. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal on Wednesday stated that the country is now being viewed as a bright spot by the world, having emerged from past challenges. Speaking at the Confederation of Indian Industry Annual Session 2023 in New Delhi, Mr. Goyal highlighted the country's focus on innovation, quality and talent as catalysts for unlimited growth. He mentioned that India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is emerging as a global leader of developing countries, attracting interest from various nations for fast-tracking free trade agreements. The minister also praised the transformative journey of the Indian economy in the last 9 years, marked by structural reforms and remarkable achievements, including low inflation, strong foreign exchange reserves, and consistent economic growth. He stressed expanding international outreach, bringing innovation and technology from across the world to grab the opportunities available for growth. In Jammu and Kashmir, the Special Investigation Unit SIU of J&K Police on Wednesday conducted raids on the houses of 4 Pakistan-based terrorists in various areas of the Kishtwar district. Our Jammu correspondent reports that the raids were carried out in Padar, Keshwan and Thakrai areas of the district after search warrants were obtained from a special NIA court in Jammu in a case under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Earlier, on the 18th of May, teams of the SIU raided the house of 5 terrorists who are currently operating from Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, besides 3 suspected individuals in the district. SSP Kishtwar Khalil Poswal said the evidence found in the searches would be used to indict the target's role in engaging in anti-national activities and perpetuating acts of terrorism. The Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO will launch GSLV F-12 navigation satellite on the 29th of May from Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. This is a return-to-flight mission carrying the next-generation NAVIC satellite that will replace the IRNSS-1G satellite launched in 2016. NAVIC is a constellation of 7 satellites offering the standard position service for civilian users and restricted service for strategic users. 3 satellites of the constellation are placed in the geostationary orbit and 4 satellites in the inclined geosynchronous orbit. The ground network consists of a control center, range and integrity monitoring stations and two-way ranging stations. NAVIC signals covering 1,500 kilometers around India are designed to provide user position accuracy better than 20 meters and timing accuracy better than 50 nanoseconds. Pakistan Defence Minister Khwaja Asif on Wednesday said that the government is considering imposing a ban on the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI over the incidents that took place on the 9th of May. Speaking to media persons in Islamabad, Khwaja Asif said a decision has not been taken yet, but a review is surely underway. He called the vandalism of military installations across Pakistan as coordinated attacks planned by PTI chairman Imran Khan. Protests had erupted across Pakistan after Imran Khan's arrest in Islamabad on the 9th of May. Meanwhile, Islamabad High Court on Wednesday ordered to release immediately Asad Umar, the Secretary General of PTI and a close aide of Imran Khan. The court ruled that his arrest was in violation of the Maintenance of Public Order Ordinance MPO. He was arrested on the 10th of May, a day after nationwide demonstrations. Umar was brought into custody from the ISC grounds under the MPO. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI leaders Shah Mahmood Qureshi, Jamshed Cheema and his wife Musarrat Cheema have been put under house arrest for 15 days. This comes amid Shehbaz Sharif-led Pakistani government's crackdown against the Imran Khan-led party. The PTI leaders have been put under house arrest under maintenance of public order. Earlier on Tuesday, former Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi, who is also PTI Vice Chairman, was re-arrested minutes after being released from Rawalpindi's Adiala jail. Party leader Musarrat Jamshed Cheema was also re-arrested immediately after her release. Nepal Police investigation report on the Bhutanese refugee scam recommends the prosecution of 33 individuals, including senior political leaders of different political parties, accused in the scam. The police recommended the attorney's office to implicate those involved in the scam on 3 types of charges: fraud, organized crime and treason, both police and district attorney office Kathmandu confirmed. Of the accused, 16, including former Deputy Prime Minister Top Bahadur Raya Majhi and former Home Minister Balkrishna Khan, have been arrested, while 17 are on the run. They were involved in collecting millions of rupees from hundreds of people by promising to send them to the US as Bhutanese refugees. Kathmandu District Court has extended the judicial custody of all 16 accused in the Bhutanese refugee scam by 2 more days. The police have determined the total amount involved in the offence at around 270 million rupees. Vice President of Nepal Ram Sahai Prasad Yadav has congratulated Hari Buddhamagar, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest, with artificial legs beyond the knee, and record climber Kamirita Sherpa, who set a new world record by climbing Mount Everest for the 28th time. Hari Buddhamagar, an army veteran from Nepal, has made history by becoming the first above-the-knee double amputee to successfully climb Mount Everest, the world's highest peak. This remarkable achievement of Hari, who lost his legs in Afghanistan 13 years ago, serves as proof that disabilities should not be seen as barriers to achieving great things. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said on Wednesday the country had no plans to become a NATO member, but acknowledged the Security Alliance's plan to open a liaison office in Japan. Kishida's comments came after Japan's ambassador to the US, Koji Tomita, earlier this month said Tokyo and NATO were working towards opening an office, the first in Asia, to facilitate consultations in the region. After Kishida's statement not ruling out the possibility of opening a NATO office, China reacted sternly. Beijing said Asia Pacific does not welcome NATO's plan. Japan hosted the Group of 7 summit in Hiroshima over the weekend, where the leaders of rich democracies agreed to de-risk, not decouple economic engagement with China, and reaffirmed the importance of peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. Russia's Prime Minister signed a set of agreements with China on Wednesday during a trip to Beijing, describing bilateral ties at an unprecedented high. Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Keqiang. The memorandums of understanding signed included an agreement to deepen investment cooperation in trade services, a pact on export of agricultural products to China, and another on sports cooperation. Russia's energy shipments to China are projected to rise 40% this year. Xi told Mishustin that China and Russia should find ways to upgrade the level of economic trade and investment cooperation. The Secretary of Russia's Security Council, Nikolai Patrushev, said deepening of ties with China is a strategic course for Moscow. In a significant step, Bahrain's parliament has voted to eliminate a law that granted rapists exemption from punishment if they married their victims. The decision has been hailed by women's rights activists who tirelessly campaigned against this legislation for several years. The unanimous vote to remove Article 353 from Bahrain's penal code was carried out by the Shura Council, the upper house of parliament. This article had previously allowed perpetrators of rape or sexual assault to evade legal consequences by marrying their victims. Bahrain joins a growing list of countries in the Middle East and North Africa region that have either abolished or amended their penal codes to prevent rapists from evading prosecution through marriage. Lebanon, Jordan, and Tunisia took similar strides in 2017, signing comparable laws within their respective nations. The move is anticipated to have a far-reaching impact on societal norms and the advancement of women's rights in the region. The key domestic indices today ended with marginal losses. The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange closed below 61,800 points, while the Nifty at the National Stock Exchange settled below 18,300 level. Both indices fell amid negative cues from global share markets. A report from the business desk.
The Sensex declined 208 points or 0.34% to finish at 61,774. The Nifty also slipped 63 points or 0.34% to end at 18,285. Most Asian shares slipped amid a deadlock in U.S. debt ceiling negotiations that weighed on investor sentiment and as the deadline to raise the U.S. government's $31.4 trillion borrowing limit or risk default ticked closer. Hong Kong's Hang Seng plunged 1.7% and China's Shanghai Composite Index declined 1.3%. Japan's Nikkei 225 fell 0.9% and Singapore's Straits Times Index slipped 0.1%. South Korea's Kospi ended flat. In intraday trade, European markets were also down. Oil prices rose after data showed that U.S. inventories and fuel supplies were tightening and investors speculated for further OPEC Plus output cuts. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at $78 a barrel. Back home, gold prices at the multi-commodity exchange for June contracts were trading at around 60,345 rupees per 10 grams. On the other hand, silver was trading at 71,950 rupees per kilogram for July contracts when reports last came in. And in the forex market, the rupee closed at 82 rupees and 67 paise against the US dollar. Gaurang Dhawan Lal for World News, Akashvani.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Wall Street Journal reports China draws Russia closer while pushing Ukraine peace plan, and Washington Post reports Germany conducts raids against climate activists alleging criminality. A quick look at the headlines now once again. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi invites Australian CEOs to leverage vast investment opportunities in India across various sectors. Concludes his three-nation tour to Australia, Papua New Guinea and Japan. Australia offers strong support for India's permanent membership in UN Security Council. Third G20 Tourism Group meeting successfully concludes in Srinagar. Special Investigating Unit conducts raids on houses of 4 Pakistan-based terrorists in Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan Defence Minister Khwaja Asif says government considering putting a ban on Imran Khan's party PTI. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida denies plans to join NATO, acknowledges Security Alliance's plan to open a liaison office in the country, and Russia's Prime Minister signs a set of agreements with China during a trip to Beijing. And now before we end, let's just listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from Denmark.
Vaishnav Jan tu tine kahiye ge peeda parai jaane re par dukhe upkar kare tae man abhiman naane re
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.